What was the rudest thing that a guest did to your pet in your home? 1. One Christmas, my husband's family was over celebrating. My in-laws brought their grandson, who was 9 or 10. I had a retriever pit mix who loved everyone. Her Christmas present was a large rawhide bone, and she was lying on the floor calmly chewing it. At one point, I saw the grandson kick the rawhide out of her mouth. She retrieved it and resumed chewing. I corrected the boy, and so did my sister-in-law. Not trusting the little twerp, I kept an eye on him. Sure enough, a minute later, he walked over and kicked it out of her mouth again. I corrected him a second time, and my dog moved across the room. But guess what? The twerp followed her and did it a third time. This time, my dog bit his ankle. The kid screamed like he was dying. My sister-in-law started yelling that I needed to keep my violent dog locked up around children. I told her that her precious grandson was the one who needed to be locked up. They never came to our house again. The worst part was that my previously sweet dog became toy possessive after the incident, growling if anyone approached while she was chewing. Despite this, she was still the best dog I ever had. She and my dog grew up together and were the best of friends. My dog passed away 13 years ago, and I miss her terribly. My daughter now has a dog that looks exactly like her. Their photos are interchangeable. 2. My aunt hates animals. During a visit, she opened the door and said, "Go, doggy," letting my dog out. He ran away, and I spent hours searching for him. Eventually, I spotted him running down a main road. I was on a side street when I saw him. I yelled his name, and he turned, saw me, and sprinted toward me. He was so happy to be found. 3. My husband invited a couple of coworkers over for drinks. We had 3 cats, including Chadwick. One of the men walked in, saw Chadwick, and thought it would be funny to grab his tail and spin him around in a circle. I walked in just as he started and yelled at him to stop. He let go of the cat's tail, and Chadwick went flying. I checked on the cat, and thankfully, he was okay. Later that evening, the same man picked up his nice leather jacket from the floor, only to find it soaked in cat urine. My cats were litter trained and had never gone outside their boxes. This was deliberate revenge. He was furious, but I laughed harder than I ever have in my life. Don't mess with cats. 4. My ex invited an old friend to stay with us while he and his wife moved from California to Oregon. This friend was not nice to my Lynx Point Siamese cat, Spooky. Spooky, a psychopath in a cat's skin, tolerated no nonsense. When the man kicked her, Spooky waited until 2 a.m. to retaliate. She went outside, caught a live snake, pulled back the blankets on his bed, and dropped the snake between him and his wife. Then she perched on a high shelf and watched the chaos unfold. The next night, Spooky pooped in his shoes. Later, she attacked his hair in his sleep, drawing blood. Within a week, Spooky had successfully driven him out of my house, a feat I couldn't accomplish on my own. She was 12 when she passed away, and she never hurt a child, puppy, or kitten. She was a good kitty who took no crap. 5. Not a guest, but a former roommate who was an absolute jerk. She constantly said she felt sorry for my indoor cat and insisted I should let her outside. We lived near a wooded area and an interstate, not safe for a roaming cat. One day, I came home to find my cat gone. My roommate denied letting her out, but I knew better. I searched the apartment complex for hours, crying as I called my cat's name. Finally, I gave up and went home, leaving the patio doors open just in case. An hour later, my cat miraculously appeared on the balcony. I was so relieved, but I never forgave my roommate for putting her at risk. 6. When my daughter was 2, I hosted a morning tea for playgroup parents. One little boy started slapping the glass of our terrarium, scaring the lizards inside. I politely asked his mom to pick him up and suggested we take our tea into the garden so the kids could play outside. The mom said, "Oh, he's just curious. Look at him, he loves the lizards."